Drop it on the random. What up, y'all? Welcome to a special edition of Hip Hop Now Podcast Tierlist. And the tier list we doing today is the Ghostface Killah, Wu-Tang Clan. If you don't know, one of my favorite artists, own just about every album. We're going to go through the catalog of solo projects. Now, as you can see already on the screen, you're like, yo, where's what you call it? Where's Wu Massacre? Where's Wu Block and Czarface, versus Ghostface? Nah, we're just going to stick to solo projects within his catalog, meaning those albums that kind of fall in line with, what was released. Not really many greatest hits and stuff like that, but to me, the 14 projects here are kind of what Ghostface has released. If you were going to go through a timeline, and then there's things here and there like the lost tapes and stuff, and a couple of greatest hits, stuff like that. But we're going to stick to the straight up albums. In the tier list, right at the very top, we have Like Blue and Cream. That's basically classic, great, 5 mics, whatever you want to call it. Right below that, it's like Grey Poupon. You know what I'm saying? Like Marble Cake. I was going to change that to Marble Cake, but I think Raekwon said that. But nevertheless, that's a really good album, basically. Baked Ziti. That just means it's good. You know what I'm saying? Now, I gave you a grace period means I'm not really feeling it, but it's not the worst album in the world. And lastly, Don't Disrespect My Gate Guy. You know what that means. I think it's trash, or I don't like it. Please believe that this list is subjective. This is my choices and how I feel. Obviously, you can go on here, and my whole breakdown is here. All you got to do is go to tiermaker.com and look for Vegas World INC. And not only can you do this same tier list in your order, but I have 2 other tier lists. One with Snoop Dogg's catalog and another one matching up Nas and Jay-Z's catalog. And there's videos and all that to support it. So check it out. But let's get right into the business at hand. No particular order, somewhat of an order, but we're just going to get started with Iron Man. Now, when Iron Man first came out, I ain't going to lie, I liked most of the songs, but there were songs I skipped. And then time passed and I would listen more and I would go back and I was like, yo, what was I thinking? Iron Man is like, it's like Blue and Cream, you know what I'm saying? Boom, you know what I'm saying? Mixed in my dotted top like this, you know what it is. Next album, Ghostface Killah, Supreme Clientele. It's like waste no time whatsoever. It's like Blue and Cream. Arguably, Ghostface's best album out of everything he's released, solo projects, in my opinion. But that's true, like Blue and Cream, you know. I'm feeling it. Next up, Bulletproof Wallets. Now, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to cheat with Bulletproof Wallets. We know that there was an issue with the record label on two separate situations with the official release, right? If you bought the CD in the stores, some people had different albums. When you play the album, the track listing that was on the back was different. There was some songs missing, and prior to that album being released and me having a little inside knowledge, because I knew somebody who worked at Sony at the time, of when that came out, that album was bootlegged big time before it came out. So a couple of records did not make it. But me, since then until now, I only listen to the bootleg version because that's the one that contains all the dope songs. And to me, that's the version of the album that would have been considered like a Supreme Clientele too. It was really that good. So since I had to add all those caveats and, if you want a copy of my version of Bulletproof Wallets to see what I'm talking about, hit me up. But I'm going to say it's Grey Poupon, right? Um, any other case, I probably would went straight to like Blue and Cream. But because of, the bootlegging and the record company just destroying the track listing and that album launch altogether, I'm going to just leave it right there. Next up, Fishscale. Fishscale was another dope album, like where I was like, man, Ghost cannot miss. Like he's dropping albums back to back and they're all dope. Uh, I'm gonna say that's Grey Poupon. Now, when you look at this, there's some people who will take Fishscale and put it like Blue and Cream, right? But my only thing is, I guess the other thing I should have said about my listing here is the fact that when I look at these albums, what albums do I go back to? Doesn't mean I listen to them every day, but at some point during the year, during a couple of months or whatever, what album do I go back and listen to in its entirety? And Iron Man and Supreme Clientele happen frequently, multiple times throughout the year, as if it just came out. Bulletproof Wallets, somewhat the same. Same thing with Fishscale. Two very dope albums. I wouldn't be mad at anybody for having them in like Blue and Cream, which is classic or whatever. Can't be mad at that at all. Next up, More Fish. Now this was like Baked Ziti. I think it was good, but I think it's easy to forget about it because it was kind of like, I guess, Ghostface before he actually had a Lost Tapes, but Ghostface's Lost Tapes. He had a lot of dope stuff that didn't make Fishscale, so he released an album called More Fish, but it kind of felt to me like these are the songs that didn't make it. It didn't feel like an album. But nevertheless, it's like Baked Ziti, you know what I'm saying? Cooking up the marvelous shit to get the mouth watered, you know what I'm saying? That's basically what that was. Next up, Pretty Tony album. This one I'm going to say is like Baked Ziti. There was a lot here that was different from the other releases as far as tone and beat selection and stuff like that. And there was a lot of other outside guest appearances. Not too many, but it felt way different. And when you look at Iron Man, Supreme Clientele, Bulletproof Wallets, Fishscale, More Fish, there was like a tone to the music. There was like a feel to these projects that when Pretty Tony came out, I felt like it was different. And I think that's why it's not one of my favorite Ghost albums, but I don't think it's whack. So there's that. Next up, the Big Dough Rehab. I'm going to say I gave you a grace period. Now, the only reason why I say this, it's not because there's some whack records on here. It's just because I was starting to feel like, am I getting Ghostface fatigue? Or is he running out of themes that have? I can't say themes to have or whatever because that seems strange. Basically, Ghost was doing this thing, and this happens a couple of times on the album, not too crazy, where he would rhyme over old soul records, and he would just rhyme over it with the lyrics and all of that. And I really hated that because it was a distraction. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to hear his bars. I wanted to hear his bars over that beat, but not with just the lyrics there. And there were just a couple of records on here that was like, it was cool. It's just not an album I go back to be honest. And I think I somewhat liked it initially, but then found myself a little disappointed, And it's tough to say that because I'm a huge Ghostface Killah fan. Ghost Dini, this is Baked Ziti. This is Baked Ziti, fam. You know what? All right, now I'm going to leave it there. This is Baked Ziti. Ghost Dini, I don't think a lot of Ghostface fans liked it. It was Ghostface's way of making an R&B album, but I think that's what was dope about it. It wasn't an R&B album. It was the same type of records that you've heard from Ghost in the past, so nothing new. But he just decided to do it in a way that, is only familiar with Ghostface. You know what I'm saying? The Wizard of Poetry. And I really dug it. I liked the fact that it was a theme, so it made it different. And I didn't feel that fatigue or that yearning for Supreme Clientele 2 or Iron Man Ghost, because this was different. This was fun. And there's a lot of dope records on there. So I can't complain at all. Next up, Apollo Kids. This Grey Poupon, man. Beats, bars, guest appearances, especially Black Thought guest appearance. This was like almost a return to form. I loved it. I just listened to it the other day, and that kind of reconfirmed, like, yo, I like Apollo Kids, man. Like, and you don't realize how many projects that your favorite artist drops until you do something like this and you lay them out, or if you have all the CDs, or you look in your collection on your computer and you're like, damn, I got like every Ghostface album. But it was dope, and look what we have here, right? So far, we got 5 albums left. We got 2 that are like Blue and Cream. We got 3 that are Grey Poupon. We got 3 that are Baked Ziti, and we only got 1 under I Gave You a Grace Period. As you can see, I'm trying to say it like Ghost. But does that mean there won't be any whack stuff? I don't know. Let's see. Let's get right into it. So, 12 Reasons to Die. Don't disrespect my gate God. Now, for some people, it's like, what, are you kidding me? Ghost made a conceptual album telling a story. Yeah, he did. But I didn't like damn near any of the beats. And I thought I was going to. I was sure I was going to. But I just could not. I couldn't get into it. And the beats were a distraction. The storyline didn't feel streamlined, but maybe I'm wrong, as you can find out really soon. But I was just really distracted by it. Like the beats, it just didn't go, man. And it felt like times they were rapping off beat, but they probably weren't. It was just how it was put together. I just didn't really like it at all. So that was that. Then he dropped a part 2 to that, and I thought that was better. But still, that production was, yeah. So I kind of, again, you can interchange those two. You can put them both in Don't Disrespect My Gate, or you can put them in I Gave You a Grace Period. But these are my truly honest reactions to when these albums were released. Now, there was a third one that was kind of a follow-up called 36 Seasons. This one, Grey Poupon, fam. This was more like it. This was like right up my alley. You know what I'm saying? It was dope. I love the name. I love the cover. I love the storytelling. Felt like more succinct with the beats. I could follow it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, Ghost has his own slang, as you can see by the titles of the tier list or the categories. But those other 2, you know, 12 Reasons to Die, just, I don't know, the production just didn't lend itself to Ghost's story, unlike 36 Seasons. Sour Soul, album he did with Bad Bad Not Good. Don't Disrespect My Gate God. I wasn't really feeling this. Now, it had some standout records on there, I can't front, but again, this was another case of me feeling like, nah, this ain't Ghost. This ain't the Ghost I know. You know, it has to be a perfect blend of the style of beats and that highlight, that nurture Ghost's flow. And I felt like this was another example of it just not working out in most cases on the album. Like, I really don't go back to this. 12 Reasons to Die is an album that I'll go back to just to see if I was overreacting. But I probably will never go back to it, because when this Apollo Brown version came out, I was like, this is it. This is what I needed. Grey Poupon, fam. The Apollo Brown version of 12 Reasons to Die. Apollo Brown remixed it and gave the album the beats it deserved. All of a sudden, I could follow the whole damn story. Facts. So let's go over real quick just to wrap this up. Like Blue and Cream, Iron Man, and Supreme Clientele. No surprise there. Grey Poupon, Bulletproof Wallets, Fishscale, Apollo Kids, 36 Seasons, and 12 Reasons to Die, the Apollo Brown version. Bake Ziti, More Fish, Pretty Tony, Ghostdini, The Wizard of Poetry. I Gave You a Grace Period, Big Dough Rehab, 12 Reasons to Die 2, and Don't Disrespect My Gate Guy. 12 Reasons to Die, the original, the Andre Young version, and Sour Soul. Again, you can go to tiermaker.com, just look up my name, Vegas World INC, and do the same tier list in your way. Or you can leave your comments in the comment section below, but whichever is easier. And give me your reasons for why you like certain Ghostface albums versus others. Also, in your spare time, check out my Hip Hop News Weekly podcast called Hip Hop Now Podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And please know that you can follow me on social media at Instagram and Twitter at Vegas World INC. Until next time, y'all. Peace. Drop it on the random.